Put on your cowboy boots because we are headed to Texas. Today on Homeworthy, we're visiting 3 gorgeous Fort Worth homes that are truly one of a kind. First, we'll tour a Western-inspired townhome that is filled with unique art. Next, we'll visit a colorful ranch-style home where bold patterns and bright colors reign. Finally, we'll explore a beautiful home where a gorgeous golf course view and global accents steal the show. Watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi Homeworthy, I am Joe and I am welcoming you to my townhome here in Fort Worth, Texas. This is number 7 of the 7. Welcome. Hi, I'm Joe, and welcome to Bowie House and the 7. We're glad to have you here, and I am looking forward to showing you my new townhome. I've just only been here a couple of months, and it's very exciting to be in this hotel townhome community, and I'm very anxious to share it with you. So we are in Fort Worth, Texas. We are at the Bowie House Hotel. It's a development that my company just finished about a year ago. We've been open for about a year, and the townhomes, the 7, are a part of that development, and it's a community of a hotel, townhomes, residential, and we started this project perhaps about 4 years ago, maybe 5 now, from the development stage to the building, and we were happy to open on December 1st of 2023. So we're a year into it, and here we are. Fort Worth is famous for their equestrian events from all over the world. We have people that are in town right now for the National Cutting Horse Association Futurity. The Futurity will go on for 27 days, and we actually will have people here from all over the world. Many of these people have bought ranches and homes throughout the area, and we feel like that the 7 will become the home for some of those people, the equestrian community in general. You are now standing in my entryway. If you have been in the hotel, you'll know that my home is an extension of the hotel in the style, in the art that I collect, and this is my foyer. I do a lot of business with a showroom here in Fort Worth called Simple Things. Many of the items that you see in the home and in the hotel are from Simple Things: furniture, furnishings, accessories. They're my favorite showroom. On my buffet here, I have a vintage lamp that I purchased from the same auction house where the bar at Bowie House came from. The skull is one of our artists that I carry in the hotel, Caroline Jarosz, and she does a fabulous job with skulls. It's a different version of a decorative skull. It's a very sophisticated, beautifully painted skull. This bronze is a bronze that I have had for almost 40 years. It's an artist called Mayor Marcos. He's an Egyptian artist. He does oils and bronzes. He's located in La Jolla, California. I love this piece. This is one of my favorite bronzes. So many of the things that you'll see in this home I have had for many, many years. I've had them in my other homes. This is an example of a mirror I've had for perhaps 40 years. There's a lot of art that you will see in my townhome that are extension of the artists that you saw in the hotel. This is an exception. This artist is a Chinese artist that now lives in Beijing. I found this piece at Art Basel, Switzerland, just this last spring. This artist hand polishes these beautiful stainless steel sculptures. This is an example of one of his small pieces. He has moved on to doing very, very large scale installations in public, and this will be one of his last small sculptures, so I feel very, very fortunate to be able to capture this and bring it. I'm very, very happy with this. Okay, I'm going to give you the elevator reveal. This is like my biggest surprise in the townhome. This is something I truly enjoy showing people because it's so unusual. This is the only elevator in the entire world that has this finish. This artist is by Bruce McDonald. He is also represented in the hotel. He works with stainless steel, and he gets this effect with many brushing tools. If you can see this, I mean, it's almost unbelievable. It has a three-dimensional effect, and it feels like the surface is right there, but actually you just touch through it. It's just an incredible feeling and gives the space a dimension that it normally would not otherwise have. You can change the lights. I've had a totally blue elevator, totally green, and then it'll change into green and purple. It's a fascinating piece of contemporary art. So I envisioned my stairwell to be a gallery, and that's what I've done is I've brought some of my favorite artists from the hotel and from my private collection to embrace my stairwell. So let's go up. I want to point out this piece of art. This is a very special piece of art to me for a lot of reasons. This is David Bates. It's one of his earliest pieces, probably painted in the 70s or 80s. It belonged to Margaret Berry Bryan. Margaret was my first interior designer when I built my home in Dallas, and she has remained a close friend for many, many years. She just passed away last year at the age of 102, and she promised me 40 years ago that I could have the opportunity to own this once she passed. It's very, very special to me. This is a great spot for me to explain what I envisioned this stairwell to be as a gallery, not only for me and my guests that visit, but also for the hotel guests. The ones that are out at the pool or up on their balconies can look into my stairwell and they see a beautiful art gallery. And that's what I am trying to achieve here. We are now on the second floor of the townhome. The second floor is the living quarters of the unit. We have 2 bedrooms. It works really, really well to save the top floor for the living room and the kitchen and the entertainment space. I want to show you Cindy Holt's piece. I was very attracted to her piece. I love color, I love animals. Her style is a little different in some of the pieces. I love the pointillism that she has here. Cindy is originally a California artist. She now resides in Fort Worth, and she was represented in the Valley Gallery there in Dallas. Welcome to my guest bedroom. I'm very happy with the way this turned out. The bedrooms are very spacious, and they allow me to include many of my collections and my style. This artist, I love this artist. This is Daniel Black, and I've had this piece for several years now. I think it's a perfect example of some of his style. I really like that. Another beautiful piece, a beautiful bench that I found at Simple Things. I love this bench. Everyone that sees it wants to take it home with them. A lot of the things that you see in my house are just things that I've picked up for many years. I've had these many, many years. I used them as end tables in a living room for a while, but I thought they'd be great. I love this style of creating something very different as tables, bedside tables. I think it's a very interesting approach. I love the style of the guest bathroom. The architect did an excellent job. I've been very pleased with the surfaces, the space. The closet space is phenomenal for a guest bedroom. The finishes are very easy to live with. Makes it very easy to accessorize a home when your background is so special. I'd love to show you this beautiful armoire. It's a relatively new piece. I found it in an antique shop in Mobile, Alabama. It was actually on lease to a movie production. It was in a movie, and I couldn't take it home for about 6 months because they were using it in the movie. It houses several of my favorite things. My dog collars of all my best friends that have lived their life with me and now have passed on, but this is kind of what I do, and I think it's very special to me. I'd love to point out this photograph. This is such an iconic photograph, and it is, I know almost everyone in the photograph. It's a group of cutting horse stars, trainers, non-professionals. Buster Welch and his wife, Shayla, are in this, along with many Hall of Fame riders, both professional and non-professional riders. And while I'm talking about Buster Welch, I want to show you quickly one portrait that I bought that is dear to my heart. Buster was a great friend of mine, and he's just a Western icon and probably the most famous cutting horse trainer of all time as far as a legend. But we shared many stories together, and this is a wonderful portrait of Buster. I'm very happy to show you the primary bedroom, and the first thing I want to talk about are these amazing doors. These doors once were in the former mayor of Dallas, Stark Taylor's home. I'm sure he had them custom made for his ballroom. Eventually, my son ended up buying that home, and he was going to demolish it, and so I salvaged these doors before they made that transition. So they're just absolutely gorgeous, solid oak doors. They have the original beveled glass and the original hardware. I did have them faux finished, and it was always my vision to let this be the entrance to the primary bedroom. I think they are just absolutely fantastic. There are many things in this room that I'm really happy to share with you. One thing I wanted to talk about was the linens and some of the artwork that's in this room. I've had them for many, many years. This is a collection from Pandora Balthazar's Antique European Linens. I found her in Round Top, Texas, and I have quite a collection of her vintage linens, and I created this bedding, this set, for some years ago, and this bed and everything in this room was at my ranch in Whitesboro. But I knew as soon as I was designing this townhouse that this is where this collection would end up. This is another Caroline Jarras painted deer that I think is just so feminine and so beautiful in this space. The mirrored bedside tables I thought were excellent addition to the collection. This is another Simple Things from Simple Things. I already had the mercury glass lamps, so I chose a mercury glass chandelier for over the bed. The framed tapestries are also vintage linens from Antique European Linens. I had this collection of benches, petite couches, you may say, or love seats. They're smaller than the traditional love seat, but they fit just absolutely perfect. I already had these. And then, of course, the little vintage black saddle I thought was just a great accessory for the space. This is an application that is a little unique to my style. I've never designed like this before. I have to give the credit to the architect, Michael Gooden and Associates, who is the architect on the home, on the entire development. But this was their design, and I am very, very happy with it. I think it's very clean, it's contemporary, but it still has a warm and welcoming feel to it. I did add a few things, a few touches of my own. I love what he did here. We have the epee wood floor that is throughout, so this is a wet surface throughout with a recessed floor, drains, and it's a very, very attractive touch. The floating vanity with the built-in lavatories is, I'm really happy. It's the first time I've ever used that technique. I am in love with the concrete bathtub. It is a product by a company called Cocoon, and it is it's delightful with the waterworks fixtures in copper. I think is very, very attractive. My equestrian background, so this is the application. I wanted these shelves. I did this in another home with the lighted shelves, just narrow shelves. You can do a lot of different things. I did have family photographs on them and then found the rusted horseshoes, and I thought that really is very attractive, very stylish, very contemporary. So I was very happy with that. This is a feature that I've never done before, to have your in-mirror television. It's a great opportunity to enjoy a glass of wine, a nice soak, and watch a movie. I'm very, very happy with this storage capabilities in this unit. We maximized every inch that we could. I have a beautiful linen pantry here. One thing that I really love, and I learned this from the hotel, is my closet. I developed my dry vanity at the end of the closet, so therefore my lavatory always stays nice and clean and uncluttered, and all my lady things that ladies have to have are down there. So that's really a nice feature. But the closet space is amazing. I created this hat display using bridle hooks, brass bridle hooks. Very nice. I created this little hidden garage so I can hide makeup, hair accessories, so forth. Created a little art niche right here, which is really quite attractive. And of course, being a cowgirl, I have all my hats and all my boots, with a tremendous amount of closet space. So we'll continue up the staircase and you'll get to see a little more of the art gallery as we go. I'd love to introduce Jake Genovese. Jake is represented in the hotel as well. He is one of my favorite young contemporary artists. He is the king of minimalism. And of course, I love red, so I bet this piece has found its forever home. This piece is by John David Cole. JD is a new artist to me. He was discovered by Emily, the Gallery at Bowie House art director. I absolutely love his style. Emily tells me that JD actually knows every character in his paintings, that he personally knows this man. They have long conversations, they're friends, and then he paints him in his workspace. And I just think his technique is fantastic, so I'm really excited about introducing him to the hotel. This is a fascinating piece of contemporary art. I discovered this at Art Basel, Miami 2 years ago, Lisa Ashenoff. She does this very detailed architectural contemporary paintings, and she does them in all scales. This just happens to be a very large piece, but I think her technique is just fantastic. This is one of my favorite artists, both personally and as an artist, Ingrid Magidson. Ingrid lives outside of Aspen, Colorado in basalt. Ingrid does a technique of very, very layered, detailed, fabulous art. She takes the Renaissance figure and then layers so many different elements into her painting. She's represented in the hotel. I think there's like 20 pieces of hers in the hotel, and we just had her as a guest doing an interview, an artist talk, and a public exhibition. She's absolutely wonderful. This painting makes me smile. Every one of Abigail Jackson's, and there's a great story behind this. Abigail actually is the hostess of Bricks and Horses in the hotel. Abigail started painting not too long ago and brought a few of her paintings to the hotel. We hung them, and she is now one of our fastest selling artists. So it's Abigail's style is Western, but it's in a contemporary version, and it's very appealing to a lot of the younger generation. This is another artist that paints from characters he actually knows. The artist is Miles Baker. This is a lady that apparently the story I was told is the lady lives in a trailer home. Down the street she has these dogs, and this is an actual capture of her personality. So we've made it to the third floor, the living area of the home, the entertainment area of the home, and I have already entertained a great deal up here, even being here a short time, and I expect to have several parties up here the next couple of days. It's just a perfect space for entertaining. This is not a new piece of art. This is a piece I bought in the 80s. It has lived in several of my homes, my ranch in Mississippi, and then another home, and finally it has made its way here. It lived in the hotel for a short period of time, and now it's here. I would love to show you this photograph. This is an actual untouched photograph by a dear friend of mine, Lee Tennyson, who is a fellow cutting horse competitor friend. He's also a neighbor here in Fort Worth, and he is a frequent patron of the hotel. But one of his hobbies is photography. He goes to Africa almost every year. And this is just a natural photograph. They were at a watering hole, and this beautiful leopard came down, and just as he took his drink of water, he looked up at the camera. These eyes, these turquoise eyes, are untouched, and Lee tells me that that is the color of a leopard before he reaches adolescence or before he reaches maturity. The eyes will eventually turn yellow, but right now they're turquoise, and that is a totally untouched photograph. This is now the powder room. We have a powder room on the third floor, which is wonderful, with a coat closet, and then the finishes in here are just lovely. Again, the plaster is used throughout the house, and another one of Lee's photographs this year. He took this just a couple of months ago. The elephant is just absolutely perfect for this space. I love my kitchen. I have more storage space here than I have in my 3 times larger home in Dallas. It's absolutely fabulous. Most of the appliances are Fisher-Paykel. I chose, the architect had this island, and many times people will have the island, they may have stools at the island, then they have a formal dining table, and then they have their living space. And I didn't want to give up the real estate to have a dining table that I would use so little, so I designed this wraparound table. I had it made in Mexico of old vintage used wood, and created this table that serves my purposes. I can seat dinners here, I can seat dinners on the patio, so I think I have plenty of space, and I didn't have to give up all of the real estate in the living room, so I have much more space than was originally designed because of this application. I don't call myself an estate sale junkie, but I do love to go to select estate sales. And I have to mention these. These are vintage Thonet bent wood chairs with black patent seats. I bought these in an estate sale. It was the estate of John and Lupe Murkison, and John Murkison was one of the original owners of the Dallas Cowboys. So I was very thrilled to get these out of his estate. I have several things from that estate. Before I show you the coffee bar, I want to point out a few features that I think are very unique and really set the style for this space. This island was slated to be the same finish as the countertops, and I just wanted something more special, and I found this in a marble showroom, and this is petrified wood. It's actually petrified wood, so we did the waterfall effect with it, and then I tied in the wooden table. So everyone that comes in here goes, "What is that?" They are just absolutely amazed with this piece of marble. It's not marble, it's petrified wood. I think one feature in this unit that really is unique and special are these solid mahogany beams that anchor the ceiling, I guess you might say. I found these in Old World Lumber. It's a showroom of reclaimed lumber between here and Dallas. But the installation story is really the best part. I did not want the beam, this 30-foot beam, cut to be installed. So they actually had to cut a hole in the side of the building through the elevator shaft, bring it in, and install it in one piece. So that just speaks to the talent of our builder. And by the way, let me please say, Coates Home is the builder of all of the townhomes, the entire 7. And I've worked with a lot of builders in my life, and I can tell you that they are the best I have ever worked with. I think you can see that copper are the finish of choice in this townhome. I think it absolutely is a beautiful choice, accent to all of the different finishes that we have. I am really pleased. The architect chose this. This is a burnished copper cladding to the cabinets. All of this is storage above your cooktop. This bookcase, I think, is a good example of how you can take ordinary objects and create a very attractive, interesting space in your home. These are all things that I have picked up for years all over the world. I've had this for 40 years, and it was in a guest bedroom in my primary house. These are hand-blown tulips from England, very collectible, but this is one of the first accessories that my friend Brian, the designer I was telling you about, talked me into buying. So I'm especially fond of that. The books I found in estate sales, just different places. This is an old saddle that I found. It's a saddle mold that I found in a saddle shop. But just different collections. I can't even tell you what this is, but I like the weight of it. I like the interest of it. And it doesn't have to be anything. It's just interesting. So, one thing I did in my pantry to prevent clutter out in this space was I developed a pantry with open shelving. It has electrical power, so I can keep my coffee maker, I can keep my can opener, I can keep my crock pot, anything that I have to plug in, I can keep it in that space and not clutter up my living space. But come along with me, I'll show you the coffee space. This is a cute little niche that I created with vintage copper accessories that I found somewhere. Different antique shops, estate sales, you name it. I created my bar back here. I have my coffee machine and my bar, wine closet, ice maker. So I've been working on my living space. I am collaborating with Jim out at Simple Things on the furniture. Jim is wonderful to work with. He allows me to bring things in, try them, take them back, switch them out, or whatever it takes. And I can't say that I'm 100% sold on this right now, but I am working with it. So this is a very unique piece in the collection. In South America, Central America, the 18-wheelers that carry cargo do not have solid sides. They use tarps to cover the cargo as they go down the highway, and of course they get beat up, torn up, they get patched over and over and over and over again, and eventually they are not usable anymore. So there's a design company that buys the tarps, they dye them, and then they create furniture out of them. So this great big huge ottoman is out of a tarp that saw many, many miles down the highway once upon a time. This art, I think, really just sets the tone for this living space. I found this at Art Basel, Miami 2 years ago. The artist is Ozzie Suter. It is called concave mirrors. You can get them in any color that you want. I purchased this as is, and it was lived in the hotel for a year, and then we had an artist come in and we had to take it down. So I said to Emily, I said, let's just take it to the townhome and install it. I want to see what it looks like. Well, I think the hotel lost their art piece because I am in love with it in this space. This is a feature that I added to the plan that I am so happy I did. I have enjoyed this so much. By opening this space, it opens actually all the way back and makes the patio become part of the living entertainment space. I can also set an additional table out here, which increases my dining experience. The thing I love about it and I enjoy the most is sitting out here, enjoying a cocktail or visiting with friends, reading a book, but I am part of the hotel. It has a beautiful view of the swimming pool, the below patio, the townhomes, the hotel, and it's just such a welcoming thing. It makes you feel like you're part of a community. Even though you don't have to be in the space, you're part of it. It's a great feeling. I really enjoy. I struggled with trying to describe what living here makes me feel like. Here you have a community of people that you can be a part of, or you can not be a part of it. You can be as involved or engaged or as private as you want to. But it's a really great feeling to be a part of a community. It's great to sit out here and hear the music coming from the hotel, or to hear the chatter of conversations around. It's really hard for me to describe how it feels, but it's a really good feeling. Three of the units have ground floor outdoor kitchens. We have the opportunity to entertain or just sit, relax. I doubt seriously I'll ever be cooking here, but there's a possibility. This space is a great space to just come, fix a cocktail or a glass of tea, to sit and enjoy the music from the hotel or the dining. You can see the dining, the outdoor dining space from here. You have the pool activity there. And it's just a lovely place just to sit and relax. It's just a wonderful place just to sit and enjoy a few moments of peace and quiet. So Homeworthy, thank you so much for joining me in my home. I hope you've had a good tour. I know there are a lot of things that I didn't talk about or I missed in our conversation, so I hope you'll come back soon. Bye.
Hey Homeworthy, I'm Katie. This is my home in Fort Worth, Texas, and I would love to show you around.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
I am Katie McFarland Hellman. I am a content creator on Chronicles of Frivolity, where I share lifestyle, fashion, motherhood, and curating collections for brands. We are in Fort Worth, Texas, in one of my favorite neighborhoods, Tanglewood. It is lined with trees and parks for kids, and it's just a really great place to raise a family. Our family is my husband, Paul, my 7-year-old daughter, Maxie, almost 4-year-old son, Harry, a baby on the way, and our dog, Peaches. I knew that I wanted to raise our kids in this neighborhood, and so when my daughter was about 1, we started looking, and we found this house, I think over December, Christmas time, and I kept telling my husband, if it's still on the market tomorrow, it's meant for us. If it's still on the market for tomorrow, it's meant for us. And we had taken our daughter to go see Santa, and I think no one else was out house hunting because they were doing holiday activities, and it was still available, so I told him it's meant for us. And she was about to turn 2, and that's when we moved in. This is our entryway, and I love to mix high and low in our home. And so you'll see here, there's antique pieces from Round Top mixed with pieces from Wayfair. This Last Supper print is from my friend Chelsea McShane. This table is Wayfair. This is actually a 19th century prayer box from France that I got in Round Top. The chair is Round Top as well, and these stools are from the inside. It's one of my favorite decorating hacks. They are a company that can upholster furniture for you with designer fabrics in as quick as 4 weeks. Everything is bigger in Texas, including our wreaths, and so I love to have seasonal wreaths that I design with Fetty. I'll show you mine. And since we are about to have a baby boy, we did this blue carriage, but they also have pink ones. And we added a bow that I got in Round Top and just put it on a wreath. And now I will take you to my dining room. So when you walk in here, you are greeted with this table. This is another one of my favorite high-low mixes. This is a Bunny Williams lamp, but this table was the biggest steal. My friend's sister is an interior decorator, and she was at a store in Oklahoma and called us and said, they're giving away these amazing tables for like $15. Do you want one? And I have had it styled in every home that we have had. And then coming into the dining room, this is one of my favorite things to decorate in the home. I think your dining table, it's like jewelry, creating fun tablescapes for the season based on the dinner party you're hosting. Right now I've got my Mother's Day table out, so lots of pink forward pieces. And I love to center my tablescapes around the ceramic capsule collection that I did with Mackenzie Childs. I was really honored to be the first designer they had outside of their company design this collection for them. And each piece is really sentimental to my family, the women that inspire me in design. And so these little bud vases are always on the table, and I center nearly every seasonal tablescape around them. A lot of other table pieces I have are from Mrs. Alice Shop. She is one of my favorite Instagram accounts to follow. The pagodas, the parrots. I believe these parrots are from Matches Fashion, but I get a lot of pieces from her site as well. This linear light fixture, Maddie Hughes Designs out of Dallas sourced it, and I believe it is Erin. Probably the favorite piece in, for sure, my dining room, but especially our home, is this buffet. This piece of furniture was the first piece of furniture that my parents purchased when they got engaged. They went to an antique auction and they purchased this together. And so growing up, my mom used it to store table linens and all of our family photo albums. And I actually do the same. I keep my wedding album in the same cabinet that she did. And I have really fond memories as a little girl of having tea parties, and when babysitters would come over, I would sneak the albums out to look at my parents' wedding photos. And I use it as a place to kind of store our bar, photos of my children, my Heron collection. This piece of art, one of my best friends, Kelly, made for me. And so I just loving having sentimental pieces on top and inside as well. And then these lamps are from one of my favorite antique stores in Fort Worth, the Mercantile. This art and these intaglios, Maddie Hughes also sourced, and then the wallpaper is from Sewn, and it's their fern collection. I think every Southern home needs a plate wall moment, and these oyster plates were just sourced on Etsy. I think they're fun to track down and find matching ones. And then I just keep this restoration hardware cabinet to store all of my children's keepsakes. Two of my friends started a company in Fort Worth called Cowtown Clay, and so I have impression art everywhere. I have some antiques. A couple of these pieces are from my grandmother, the dog bookends, the bird art, and I store their curls in their tooth, their first tooth, which hopefully they don't ever find. So this house is a 1963 ranch style home, and the prior owners had renovated it. And it took a little bit of convincing with my husband because I think we walked into a blank box and he didn't really see how it could be our style. But I saw this blank box as an opportunity to just fill it with things that we loved and fabrics and textiles that really described who we are as individuals. And so we loved finding that we could make it our own. So when we bought this home, we mostly just had to do cosmetic things, countertops, wallpaper, window treatments. It wasn't anything too intense, thankfully. With me working from home, filming content, I don't think that I could ever be someone that lives through a renovation. But we've been here a little bit over 5 years, and I just say it's an ever-changing canvas. My small group, when they come over, they're always like, okay, what has changed since the last time we were here 4 weeks ago? Because I just love to rotate things in and out. And this is our living room. I love these chairs. One of my favorite stores in Fort Worth is Simple Things Furniture, and it is just the most enjoyable experience to go shopping there. You feel like you're in another world. And these chairs are a blue velvet swivel, and they're so incredibly comfortable. And we have a slip-covered sofa, but I love to interchange printed pillows. My friend Betsy owns Little Design Co., and that is where I get most of our pillows in our house. This coffee table, while small, I think can still pack a punch. I love the coffee table to be an area where my kids can always be storing books, grabbing games. So we have everything from their little Bibles to their board games. My kids love to sort the suits with mahjong tiles. My friend Catherine Carty designed these deck of cards, so we always have these out. My son will put his superheroes in these trays. And then this berry bowl, I usually have it storing candy or little seasonal mixes, but my kids eat them all, and so I have matches right here. But this is part of my ceramic collection with Mackenzie Childs as well. This is a side table that was passed down from a friend. She was moving and asked if I wanted it, and I told her absolutely. So I love using it. I store a Colores Collective basket underneath. That is probably my favorite company to get custom baskets that I can use to store blankets, books, toys, hide anything and everything. This art is from my friend Jen Thatcher. She had a collection called the Blackjacks, which were after her son, and each circle represents a family member. And so I actually have one on my wall that was for our family of 4. And then the very first purchase I made when I found out that I was having my third was I had to get a new piece of blackjack art for our soon-to-be family of 5. And then coming through here, these stools are a vintage find from Rachel Ashwell. She is the queen of shabby chic, but she has a really great vintage curated selection on her website that's ready to ship. And my kids build all the forts with them, sit on them to watch TV. They're very, very well loved. And then coming through here, this floral mirror is actually an Anthropologie find. A lot of people ask me where it's from, and it was a great little find from Anthro. This buffet was custom. I use it to store Play-Doh, puzzles, my kids' toys. If you opened this, there's 27 dump trucks in here. And then on top, I again love to mix high and low. So these were a home goods find. I think everyone knows and loves these lamps. And then this shell box is from Cherish. I use it to hide Wii remotes because I introduced my kids to the very old Wii over Christmas break and just stored coffee table books here. I use this bowl to store remotes. I think anything pretty that you can have to hide the functional is key. This is our very kid-friendly fireplace. I almost took the padding off for the shoot, and my husband reminded me we're having another, so we should not de-baby proof. But a lot of these finds are from Round Top. The sunburst mirror, these were from Round Top, and they are from Italy. These are from my friend Alyssa's store, West Fork Garden Market. I love butterflies. You will see them kind of throughout my home. My daughter's bathroom is Mackenzie Child's butterflies, and so I had to have a butterfly fireplace cover, which is from Horchow. These ginger jars are also from Cherish, and then this is the original blackjack that I got from Jen Thatcher. And then this flush mount is the Jacqueline one from Erin as well. This basket is a Pottery Barn find. Everyone always asks me on my blog if they are worth it, and they are so sturdy. My kids play hide and seek in these baskets all the time, but they are just filled with quilts that I had in my childhood, quilts that my great aunt has quilted for my kids, and it is kind of their fort nook where they grab these to make forts with the Rachel Ashwell stools. And because it is a ranch style home right off the living room, you have the kitchen, which I will take you to. These bar stools are from Monica Hibbs' shop. She's a blogger that I have always loved to follow. And then the cushions are actually Mrs. Alice's shop. One of my girlfriends, Alexi, she had them in her home, and I said, where are you finding affordable cushions that your children can stain? She said, Mrs. Alice's shop. So they're great. I love tones of green and lavender and blue in the kitchen. And so these lanterns are by Visual Comfort, and I kind of used that green to infuse in other color palettes in the kitchen as well. And I love this bowl that I got from Caitlin Wilson Design, and I use it to store orchids, seasonal arrangements, fruit. I've made sourdough in it. And then coming off of here, we have this piece of art that was in my parents' home. My dad's family is Swedish, and so my parents always had this in their home growing up. And when I got married, I begged and asked if I could have it in mine. And so that's kind of where I pull those greens and blues from. This runner is Milagro as well. I always have a Milagro runner in my kitchen because they are incredibly easy to clean. And I love a kitchen lamp. I always talk about this on my blog. It's just nice to keep on in the evenings. I keep my cookbooks here, but I always think every kitchen can use a little extra lighting that isn't overhead. And then for my utensils, one of my favorite little tricks is to actually just use a planter. I think utensil jars are never large enough, but planters are. So this is a planter that I purchased. And then as you come through here, you will see plenty of touches of Mackenzie Child's, which I love. This tea kettle is part of their new Rosy Check collection and matches a lot of my collection that I did with them. And then we have, this is one of my new favorite little hostess gifts. These are from Gardenuity, and they're like $26. So these little bulb plants are great to gift as a hostess gift, and they're under 30 and they ship very quickly. And then through here, you will see more of my collection with Mackenzie Child's. We did this spoon rest. We did this berry bowl, which I use throughout my home, store jams, jellies, bracelets, matches, anything, you name it. And I just love to use all their little dishes to store all the practical things, flaky sea salt, anything you need for cooking. And then behind you, we have our breakfast nook area. So these pillows are a Round Top find, as well as the mushroom art. I love to collect mushrooms. Just an odd little thing that I'm drawn to, and I thought that they were a soft way to add them into the kitchen. This marble table is also from Simple Things, my favorite stores in Fort Worth, And then these chairs are actually from Frontgate. I love Frontgate, but my sweet 3-year-old son had nearly destroyed the cushions with Play-Doh and cereal. And so my friend Holly Daly with Sarah Coleman Designs recovered it in a lavender leather, which makes them very wipeable and easy. And it matches our other piece of art that we got from Round Top. When my kids were very, very little, they had these Fruits of the Spirit placemats that they would have, and I wanted to have fruit art to kind of play off of that. And so we found this at Marburger in Round Top and loved it because it's just such a substantial piece for this area. And then right here, we have more of my bud vases, and these were just kind of all the sketches and the inspiration behind the collection. So I have pink for my daughter, green for my son. I actually had a lavender blue wedding dress, and so the edge of the butterfly right there kind of brings that in, and we love using them all throughout our home. So this riser is also from the Mercantile in Fort Worth. I love to take my kids and have lunch there and have them help pick out little things, and my kids had found this and they're like, "Mommy, this is so cool." And so I think it was last year I told them, I said, okay, well, we're just gonna get it for Mother's Day. And so I use it a lot of times on our dining table for oversized candles. I'll use it in the kitchen and our breakfast nook for flowers. It's just a nice little substantial riser that isn't too small, that you can place a lot on. And then this light fixture is also visual comfort as well, one of my favorite places to source lighting. The top of it reminds me of a pineapple, and in our very first house we had this brass pineapple door knocker, which we ended up using on our wedding invitations, on our wedding matches. It was just kind of like a little focal point and a Southern statement that we had throughout our wedding. So when I found this light fixture, I loved it. I have been able to work very closely with Mackenzie Childs over the past decade, and Rebecca Proctor, their creative director, has inspired me in every facet of my job and in motherhood. And she told me when I was pregnant with my daughter that anything her son would draw, she would have Mackenzie Childs produce and create. And so with my home and my inspiration, I like my kids to really be a focal point in that. I want it to look like children live here. And you'll see in my children's rooms, we have DIY things for them, doll houses, Buzz Lightyear houses. I want it to look like a family lives here. And so I love new traditional style, the comfort of French country, lots of patterns that can hide spills, but I just want it to look like a family lives here, is recharged here, and feels refreshed. Being a content creator, I feel like I get to work with so many incredible women-owned businesses, and I get to hear their why, their backstory, what made them want to start. And so I love to fill my home with that. It invigorates me, it gives me energy. Milagro Rugs company my friend Bridget owns, and knowing her story and how she has created that company as a mom is something that I look at these pieces in my home and I just feel like it inspires me. And so I love to have pieces from artists and creators and other female business owners that I'm friends with, and I know their story, and I just like having bits and pieces of that throughout my home. And now I will show you our primary bedroom. Just follow me. This is our primary. It is very light with, some might say, a lot of blush tones. My husband is very relaxed when it comes to the decor and the style of our home, and is just kind of happy wife, happy life about it. So this wallpaper, my friend Jen Thatcher also designed, and so when we moved into this house, this room felt like such a large white blank box. It had actually been the former garage that the prior owners had renovated into the primary, and so I knew that I needed a statement wall, and I don't typically like a single wall of wallpaper, but this room, the ceilings are so large, I thought if we had wallpaper everywhere, it would be really overwhelming. And so she brought some samples over, and I just really loved the blush tones. And so when we've been able to mix it in with different linen textures, so it doesn't feel as pink. These pillows are also a Marburger Round Top find. My best friend Becca has been going to Round Top for 20 years. She and her husband got engaged there. She loves it. And so I really just enjoy going with her and finding and hunting pieces that we can help decorate each other's homes with. So got a lot of Marburger Round Top finds in here. And then these nightstands were custom. I am a big reader and needle pointer, and so I wanted nightstands with some substantial drawers in them so I could hide all my needlepoint canvases that I won't finish until my children are much older. These chairs are from Kissabeth Furniture, and when I first had my daughter, I said, I need a chair that I can feed her, hold her, fall asleep in, and they designed these, and they are so, so comfortable, and I have held and slept with all my babies in them. These window treatments were actually from our old house. Maddie Hughes had done them, and I feel like so many times when you move, you cannot reuse them, but I begged and was like, okay, I'm gonna make these work, and they magically worked in this house as well. And I love this statement mirror. This was also a Horchow find as well. Then behind you, we have this jewelry chest from Front Gate. I love to do jewelry collections and collaborations with my job, and so I needed something with a lot of storage. This dresser is from One Kings Lane. These lights, I believe, are Kelly Wearstler, but they were from Simple Things. And I use this to store family photos. I love having photos everywhere. I think that is just a design trend that so many people have done away with. And when I walk in your home, I want to see pictures of your loved ones. So any little moment that you can have lots of layered frames, I am a big fan of. And then over here, this was another steel furniture find. When we moved into this house, I said, I need a lot of storage. 1963 home, closets are a bit tight, and I wanted something to store all the sentimental pieces for my kids. My friend owns Petite Keep, which is a great little trunk keepsake company, and so I have all my kids' Petite Keeps in here. I have them for myself, my husband, and I store all their photos, Christmas cards, all the things that I will give them when they're 18 one day, and they will say, Mom, why were you such a hoarder? This bench is from an amazing company out of Dallas, Parker and Hyde. We've always had it at the foot of our bed, but I think it gives my children a lot of momentum to run up and sneak in our bed at 3 in the morning. And the rug is Mila Grow as well. This art is a favorite find from Madison Summerlin, and she does launches, and her stuff will sell out in like 10 minutes. And the last time I was at Round Top, she was doing a launch, and I messaged her and I was like, I'm gonna be in Fields shopping and these are gonna sell out, but thankfully I was able to shop it. I would love to show you the rest of the house, so follow me. This is my daughter Maxie's room. This was actually the former primary before the house was renovated, and being the only girl in the firstborn, she lucked out with quite a spacious bedroom. Her bed is from Oyster Creek Studios. I had a day bed growing up, and this is actually a trundle. You can custom design it with them. And my son, we joke, never sleeps in his own bed because they have sleepovers in here with the trundle all the time. Her fabric is Cole & Sons Hummingbird, and we've taken it from fabric to bed to this little table and chair play set that she got for her first birthday, and she is 7 now, and this is still where she does all her arts and crafts and plays games and reads. And so we made little custom cushions to match with that, and it kind of brings out the colors from her Milagro rug as well. These bird panels are from Cherish, and then this art my friend Brittany Stuckey made for her, and this was her 7th birthday gift, and she kind of got to pick out everything she wanted. So she has our dog, my sister's dog, and it's very colorful because that's what she loves. And right here, this piece of custom furniture we got when we were pregnant with her, and I matched it to my wedding dress. I wanted that lavender hue, and it's been great for 7 years. Framed a scarf above it, and this is another berry bowl that we've used. This is her little seashell collection from when we go to the beach. This mirror is Murano glass. Again, another Round Top find. I got it at Blue Hills and Round Top, and I always think that they have the best deal on Murano glass. And then this is the Love Shack Fancy Pottery Barn little jewelry box collaboration, and she is her mother's daughter and loves to layer jewelry, just as I do. This is another Colora's collective basket. She always has books and magazines out, and so had to throw it in a basket to kind of keep it neat and tidy in here. And then going over here is probably my favorite DIY project. I love to make toys for my kids, or take handmade toys and bring them back to life, because I just think it's so much more special that way. And this American Girl doll house has quite the story. So there was a girl in Fort Worth that I think we danced at the same dance studio, and her grandfather made it for her. And then when she outgrew it, she gave it to another dancer at the dance studio. And then about 18 months ago, we got a call from her mom saying, okay, we've outgrown American Girl doll. Does Maxie want this? And so we took it, and we had to like saw it apart to get it in the house. But I just really wanted to honor the fact that it still had so much life left, and that it had had so many little girls play with it, and that a grandfather had made this for his granddaughter. And so my daughter and I had a lot of fun doing this. We repainted it. I took wallpaper scraps from other wallpaper projects we had in our home. I took from friends. I asked them, I said, do you have any leftover wallpaper? And we wallpapered it. We shingled the roof. I called my friend Bridget with Mila Grow, and I said, okay, this is random. I'm gonna ask you, can I have some rug samples? Can I purchase them from you? And it's just a really beautiful mix of old and new. So some of the American Girl furniture was mine growing up. Like the light fixtures were from the prior little girls that played with it. And then my daughter and I have loved sourcing little bits and pieces for it. Like some of the decor she's painted at little pottery stores. And so each room has kind of changed over time. It used to be a school room, and I joke that my daughter has maybe even more fun than I do decorating each room. And then this is her little reading area, and my daughter loves ballet and dance, and so my mom, when I signed my daughter up for her first dance class, she gifted me a framed pair of my first ballet slippers, and so then I framed her first ballet slippers right underneath, and now I hoard all of her old ballet shoes. She'll say, Mommy, I outgrew this pair, I need another pair. And I have a trunk of them, and I'm like, well, you don't know how many little girls you'll have one day, and then I have to do the same thing for you. So I'm very sentimental in how I decorate, and you can see that kind of in every little space. This light fixture was another One Kings Lane find. I love all their quick ship pieces if you are in a pinch. And then this is her bookshelf that goes with her reading nook. These boot vases I designed with Lauren Haskell, and it was probably one of my favorite projects that I've done with my blog, because our audience and customers went crazy for them. They would sell out within 30 seconds to a minute each launch. And maybe one day we'll bring them back, but it was really fun to see because we thought it was like the perfect little hostess gift or something to put on a bookshelf. And then this print, I love Born and Raised Studios for their heirloom prints, and they can also have artists paint them. And so we had this made when she was about 2. My son has one when he was 2 as well in his room. And of course we have a Barbie dream house, because what 7-year-old girl's bedroom is complete without one? I would describe my style as heavily influenced by the 3 women that taught me what home means, my mom and my 2 grandmothers. My mom is a pattern mixing queen, so I love lots of prints everywhere. My Mimi owned a flower shop in Oklahoma, and so I have so many fond memories of going with her on Saturday mornings with a bag of donut holes to work at the flower shop. So I always have fresh flowers everywhere. And then my Nana was the garden club president of Atlanta, and she threw the most amazing parties, but she was never stressed out about it. She would have 70 people over on Christmas Eve, and I loved that about her. And so I love to have a home with slip-covered furniture, things that people feel like they can just sit on with a glass of wine and no one's worried about it being too fussy. And then I will take you into her bathroom. So her bathroom is actually modeled after the farmhouse that Mackenzie Childs has in Aurora, New York. It's one of my favorite places to go and get a lot of inspiration. And in the farmhouse upstairs, they have this pink and white bathroom with butterflies and lots of little Mackenzie Childs pieces. And so the first time I went, my daughter was 1, and we were looking at this house, and I knew I didn't want to fully renovate this bathroom. I didn't want to invest too much into it because I just didn't know what our family setup would look like with more children. And so I put in this Ralph Lauren wallpaper, which I think is discontinued. I'm always looking on eBay for extra rolls of it. So if anyone has any, I will buy from you. And then we put the Mackenzie Childs butterflies up, her Wheezy towels. I love Wheezy as a company. Gina Bowhill, she has beautiful bow tissue boxes and little trash bins, and it matches the wallpaper. So I have that in here as well. And I just love that I could model it after one of my favorite places. This little tuffet is Petite Keep as well. She doesn't just make trunks, she also makes little keepsake gifts. And then this bow frame, my friend Emily, she had a little shop that had the most beautiful frames for gifting, and when I found this pink one, I knew it matched the wallpaper perfectly. These shadow box pieces are also Mackenzie Childs as well. So you've got the softness of the pink bows, but I think the fun and punchy traditional black and white stripes that they do. I would love to show y'all the nursery. I have not shared that on my blog yet, so I'll take you in there. And on our way to the nursery, you will see this piece of art from Elizabeth McLaurin. She is one of our best family friends. She married my best childhood friend, and she does beautiful Texas Plains art. This is our baby boy's nursery. He is due in about 6 weeks. There is nothing I love more than designing a nursery, and I like to take those same sentimental design processes into a baby's room as well. So when I was early pregnant with him, I was doing a Bible study on the Book of Psalms, and I really wanted to have a focus of trees in his room for what the trees represent in the Book of Psalms. And so I found this Schumacher wallpaper, and I think it's new because I really couldn't find any photos of it online, and took a big guess if it would work or not, but I've loved it. And then there's also little notes of Peter Pan throughout the room. So when I found out I was pregnant with another boy, my friend Emily, she has the same setup of girl, boy, boy. And she told me, she said, tell your 2 older kids your family's like Peter Pan. And so you'll see I have like my Peter Pan book as a child, a little vintage Peter Pan figurine I got at an antique shop. So his acrylic crib was passed down from Big Brother. This was from my friend Hillary's store's Baby by Designs in Fort Worth, which is no longer, but I loved it for my son, and I am excited to use it here. I think it's really nice for tight spaces because you just see through it. The pillows and the drapes are from Holly Daly with Sarah Coleman Designs. She kind of really brought all the art and everything together with it. And the art, this was also another Blue Hills find from Round Top. My husband joked when I found out, he said, what is the B for? Because his name is Hunt. And I said, oh, it's B for baby. This was another hand-me-down furniture from Big Brother and Sister. This was their Restoration Hardware bookshelf, but I have loved filling it up for this baby. This was actually a Fisher-Price Circus from my friend Carly's husband. she joked, she's like, it's so old, are you sure you want it? And I'm like, yes, I love things like that. And I have another Lauren Haskell boot vase, and this was my little Peter Rabbit bank when I was a baby. And then we have had these lucite shelves in here for, I think, as long as we've lived here, and it's a mix of my books from when I was little and different books that the kids have collected while we have been waiting for him. And then this changing table is also Restoration Hardware. This art is from Simple Things Furniture. That was from a vintage Peter Pan book. And this is Mary Jane McDonald. My children each have an art piece from her with their names. And she takes into consideration your nursery design, little things about your child. And so when I found out I was pregnant, my kids kept calling him Baby Bear and then Brother Bear, and so I told her we had to have some bears in it. This is another Colora's Collective basket. I have dozens throughout the home, and I have it for his blankets. This stool is one of my favorite fabrics. I had it in my son's nursery and room and just passing it down. And then this lamp is actually a Pottery Barn find, but I love to take something like a Pottery Barn find and then have a custom lampshade made with it to kind of make it your own. And then this mirror is from Bone & Co. in Round Top, which is a restaurant, but they also have like a little boutique in there, and my husband and I went in and we were grabbing a pastry, and I looked at the waitress and I said, can I buy this mirror off the wall? And she was like, sure, I guess anything's for sale. And my husband was pretty mortified. And I said, hey, anything is for sale. So we took that home. And then this rocker is from Oilo Studio. I love the texture of it. I think that his room can be pretty traditional, but the texture of it softens it a bit. And then this burlwood side table I also had custom made for my son's nursery. And then these are his first little Maren Crosby boots. And then this is another Cowtown clay piece. So he has his brother and his sister's hands on this little dish. And I will show you his closet. So Inspired Closets is a closet company in Fort Worth, and I love using them. They come in, they measure the amount of clothing you have, what exactly you need to store. It's a really, really custom process that I used for my own closet and have just been so pleased with it. So I knew, since he had a tighter space, but a lot of hand-me-downs from Big Brother, that I wanted something really, really functional for this space. So it's really tight in here, but I mean, there's even a boot shelf. There's just, we've got maximum storage and small real estate in here. My favorite part about my home, I think, is just a ranch style home for a family. I can be in the kitchen, I see my children playing, I always know where they are, it's cozy, it's a smaller home, but I know where the action is at all times, and those sight lines are really important to me. I think what gives a home soul is knowing that the owner and the people that lived in it picked out different things. That was something that Rebecca Proctor also really instilled in me with design and how you are furnishing your home and decorating it, how you never want it to look like you just went to one store or one brand, but that you collected it not only over the years, but generationally. So I have antiques that were my parents', and I love knowing that I can tell that story to my guests while we're eating in the dining table, and I think that just gives a home soul. Last but not least, for the bedrooms, we have my son Harry's room, and this was the room, I think this was my most viral blog post I ever had, his nursery, and it's really evolved as he's now almost 4 years old, and I think that's what children's rooms should do. So when I was pregnant with him, I really wanted like a Ralph Lauren equestrian theme. My parents used to take us to New York City for Christmas growing up, and I just remember being in the Ralph Lauren store when I was in high school and college with my dad and thinking, okay, if I ever have a little boy, I want his room to be like this. And so we started with a lot of different equestrian pillows and things, but as it has evolved, it's just turned into Harry. And Harry is my little Fort Worth boy that from the time he could walk, he would walk around in a diaper and boots. And so you will see touches of boots everywhere. So I'd say now it's Ralph Lauren meets Texas. He's got his boot bases, the Mary Jane McDonald art. This lasso piece for his name, his first birthday party was my first rodeo. And my party planner somehow made this. I get asked about this all the time. And I'm like, my friend made it with Silver Lining Events. But we have loved having that on his wall. And then his shelf over here, these are all very sentimental pieces, and the only thing he really touches is his car and his baseball. But down here, these were my grandfather's football pads when he was little. And then this little acrylic cowboy hat is from my best friend Becca's store, Hale House. And she uses it as a serving piece. And I was like, girl, we got boys. We've got to use them as baseball holders. And then my son loves cars. When I found out I was pregnant with him, I framed a page out of my favorite childhood book, The Giving Tree, and I passed down all of my childhood books to him. This was my Tom Sawyer book from school growing up. And then this vase, this was the sweetest story. A blog reader messaged me when I was pregnant with him and shared that I was going to do more of an equestrian room. And she said she found this at an estate sale and she just shipped it to me. And I thought that was so sweet of her to do. Over here, this dresser is from Restoration Hardware. His truck is from Groverly Wood. It's out of the UK and they make really, really cool cars and barns if you need a custom gift. They're great. And then this was, my husband went to Texas Tech and this was his little helmet. And I sourced this flag off of Etsy and they frame them and they have tons of different ones that I have on my blog. His bedding. This blanket is from Courtney Barton out of Round Top, and if you live in Texas or somewhere with a warmer climate, I love her bedding because it's not too heavy. This is an Etsy find, Biscuit Home. And then over here we have that same piece of art that I got from the Born and Raised shoot that I did with both my children. I love children's rooms to look like children live there, and they are their rooms, and to see their toys. And so this is another Petite Keep trunk, but this is their mini, and I use it to store all his little figurines. He loves superheroes, so this is really fun, and you can close it when need be. And while his sister has an American Girl doll house, he has a Buzz Lightyear house. So I made this for him for his birthday last year, I believe. I felt like a crazy person spray painting all these pieces together and sourcing all these vintage Buzz Lightyear stickers on Etsy, but he loves it. And I love that it's small because he will carry and take this thing all throughout the house. He will take it to our little petting green outside. He'll take a nap and he'll open the blinds and see if it's still daytime, and then he'll just wake up and he'll carry it out and he says, Mom, I want to take my Buzz house outside. So it's about as big as him, but it works. Speaking of his little petting green, I will take y'all outside to see the patio. So our patio is where we eat dozens of popsicles in hot Texas summer, and my love of French country comes out. So the patio furniture is from Ballard Designs. We've had it for years and years and years, and I just dress it up with different little Design Co. outdoor pillows each season because most outdoor pillows don't last too many Texas tornado seasons. And our coffee table is Ballard Designs. These lanterns are Front Gate. This little garden cart is actually a Home Goods find, but I love it because I can roll it out when my flowers need sunshine. And then if you go over here, it's my kids' garden area. So this garden over here, my husband made for our daughter during 2020 when we were all home, and she just started that, and my son and her both love planting in it, and it is probably my favorite thing to find what my son has buried. This week we found a couple buried Spider-Man action figures, And then we have this swing that we made for my daughter's school, a windmill for my son's first birthday party. It's just their little area that they can do whatever they want in, and then off of it is my son's putting green. This is another Ballard Design spine that we have had forever, and it has held up wonderfully over the years in the weather. And my husband and I just love to get takeout from Joe T. Garcia's, our favorite spot in Fort Worth, eat nachos and just let the kids play, get a little blow-up pool in the summer, and we can sit in the shade and hide out. One of my favorite motherhood authors, Sally Clarkson, always says your home is a lighthouse where your family can recharge. And so to me, home is a place that we can recharge. It's a place where my kids can cuddle up on the couch, they can play board games on the floor. I allow snacks in the living room and not just in the kitchen, just a relaxed space that guests, neighbors, family, and loved ones can come in and they leave and they feel more recharged.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.
Hey Homeworthy, I'm Tiffany in Fort Worth, Texas. Welcome to my home. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
I'm Tiffany Blackman, and I am a social media content creator and influencer, podcast host, and chef. I am a mom, I am a wife, and a fur mama. I changed careers quickly in 2020 when we couldn't do television and live performances, and I absolutely adore this chapter of my life in this career. We are in Fort Worth, Texas, right outside Dallas. This home I fell in love with when I walked inside the home, because the outside of the home was very different from what you're seeing today. There were so many options to decorate and to make this our home. When I walked in, I just knew that this was the home. It's very globally inspired. The view of the golf course and Colonial Country Club is absolutely stunning. We are on a busy street, but that's okay, because we just make this home so fabulous. We had a lot of nips and tucks to do to this home. We did, over the years, remodel and make it our own, and in my opinion has one of the best curb appeals in Fort Worth. So welcome to my entryway. I love color, we love color, and you can see by the rug that's underneath my feet here. This is an Adam Hunter and from the rug company, and we designed this. We selected every single color in the rug and tried to make the neutral that wouldn't show trackings as much, but we love it. So speaking of color, I carried on my favorite color, which is Tiffany blue, on this Christopher Guy sofa. We custom made this, and I love the texture and, again, the color. If you look closely, it's a nice silky feel, a lot of cushion. I don't sit on this on the usual. I just love how it's sort of a pebble feeling with the beautiful, beautiful high polish of the silver. I've just draped a faux fox fur right across this beautiful sofa, which brings me to this piece, which needed something to just bring this silver throughout this area. This was an antique. We just found it at some random antique shop, but we had it painted silver and then added this great object. LaToya Jones is a fabulous artist in Dallas. I love all of her things. She has so many wonderful mixed media with the high shine, with the lacquer, and then she used geodes and stones from the earth, so a little bit of black, and art is very personal. I love this because I see so many colors and it doesn't limit me with colors in this room. But I needed a piece of art here. This is Hannah Lane. It came from B Street Gallery and Dallas, and they just know what I love. I love all the color. It reminds me of our travels in Cabo. We have a home in Cabo that we absolutely love, and the color is all there. But again, goes throughout this entire area. I have to show you above here, I am obsessed with the light. This is Waterford, if you're familiar with Waterford crystal. This is absolutely amazing. So many tiny little crystals. Is it difficult to clean? No, it's actually not. We actually just run a Swiffer throughout here, and we love the linen around, so it just shines beautiful light throughout the entryway. Let me show you the area that we needed something very functional. So in this area that was kind of just a box, the powder room is to my left, and this, I just wanted more color. And of course we have it here with this beautiful mirror, so that's functional. But I needed a catch-all for keys, house keys, car keys, you know, key fobs, and so on and so forth. And we added this all to this beautiful acrylic table. The blue is an ocean blue. I tried to bring in the blue from the sofa that in the entry, and we did so. So this is acrylic with a glass top, because what I do not like is scratches and smudges. So we have a glass top. And then again, taking this up, adding height with this incredible lamp. So let me show you one of the 4 bedrooms that we have downstairs. And to carry on with the color, of course, I found these at a local wonderful boutique right at home. Every single palette is a different graphic, but there are, as you see, 9 of these. So we just created this, I almost call it like a puzzle here to create what works together. But I love this, which leads me into this bedroom. All of the 4 bedrooms when we purchased this home were alike. They were a blank palette, which was amazing for us. This room I call the Amazon room, and I just love it. Each room has its own character and its own personality. This one being the Amazon, because we brought in greens and red and different colors throughout this particular room. I love this. This is a high texture. To visually, if you feel the linens, you don't feel the texture, but you definitely see kind of an animal print here. The lamps I love because they mimic a bamboo, which I added bamboo as an arrangement over in the opposite corner. Matching, these are from Pettigrew, and the matching side tables, beautiful high gloss on the sides here, which mimics the queen beds in every room except for the last one, which I'll show you. And then we go into this bathroom. All of the bathrooms is interesting. They did not have doors, and my sister actually reminded me of that when we purchased the house. So we just added the barn doors, which worried me because I love the contemporary and modern feel, but we just had to keep that with the handles and keep it throughout the home. We added the California closets. There were only Elfa shelves here, so high gloss on this cabinetry here. Every single bathroom has a different set of hardware and different lighting. So we gave each room a bit of their own character, and we've named every single room in the house. We kept the tile, we kept the showers. People ask me what's next. I always want to change. I'm always evolving with this home, but so far, I love it. So how we determined this was the home for us, once we got inside, we knew it was the one. When we were searching, it was really difficult in the Colonial TCU area, and TCU is our alma mater. Our daughter was at TCU at the time. We all went to TCU. So when we found the property, we knew that we wanted to be here. It was just creating the home that we wanted. It was creating the design on the inside, and from looking at different points of the home, it was a little difficult because the lighting was very basic, but on the other hand, that is an opportunity. The opportunity to add the lighting that you actually want. So when you're designing a home, you don't have to take out a lot of things, you can actually put in a lot of things. So being in the TCU area and in Fort Worth, and we just knew that this was the place for us. Next, I'm going to take you to our home, Jen. We spend so much time here, so follow me. So welcome to our gym. This is where we spend so much of our time. We really do. My husband and I are fitness enthusiasts. We love fitness. And in this gym, we brought a lot of nostalgia because we're both alumni at Texas Christian University. And across probably 1.5 of walls, we have our fight song, which we start at one end and go around. And then our beloved Horn Frog at the very, very end. We have a combination of cardio, Pilates, which both my husband and I actually use, heavy weights for him, a bike, which is not always nice to us, to say the least, and then weights on the other side with the TCU. When I was in college and Greg was in college, this was the logo, and we love it. We love the nostalgia, and so happy to have a gym at home. Right off the gym, we have 2 additional rooms, guest rooms, followed by art. Again, a lot of color. But this particular room, we decided to do twin beds. And we did this for our grandchildren, for friends that are coming over when we just needed more space. We had custom headboards made, did a very muted kind of a dove gray. And again, color. You're seeing the theme here with our home. These paintings, you know, I couldn't even remember where I found this painting, but I took a watercolor and just framed this with acrylic. We've done this quite a bit in the house, and I just love how it just finishes off the art just a little bit. Laura Lee Clark, we went over and found this beautiful color, added accents and pillows, and I can't love it enough. Over here, this chair is amazing. This chair I found in Dallas. I was like, okay, this is a great piece of art, lacquered with black. And I saw the price, the original price, and I was like, no, it was around $10,000 to $15,000, which is not in my budget. But there was a scratch on it. It's by Costello Designs, and a tiny little scratch, and they had marked it down significantly. So I brought this home, and I just thought it was great, especially with these paintings that we brought from my daughter's room in one of our homes that we've had. We just fell in love with these prints and framed these with a high texture on the frames here, but that just works so well with this particular chair that's kind of odd in this room, but it works so incredibly well. Again, the bathrooms, I did the same thing with California closets, high shine on the gloss here, and they're all the same except for the fixtures as well as the hardware, and just add a little bit more color. We collect when we travel, so many of these items are collections, and we just think it's beautiful. It's very homey and makes you feel good. So something that we left in the house was this glass railing. I was on the fence about it. It's very, very fragile looking, but it's actually not. We decided to keep this. We love the look with the very, very light wood. What we did do is we added from the rug company this Adam Hunter rug that goes all the way up. And boy, for me to select that was quite the task, but we chose that because it works so well going upstairs. Speaking of upstairs, why don't you follow me on up? So welcome to our great room. One of my very favorite rooms in the home. When we purchased this home, or before we did, when we were looking at the home, I came in with my fabulous friend, Pam Flowers Design, beautiful interior designer and friend, and we looked at this home, and blue's not my thing. It is just not my thing, but it's becoming my thing. So if you look at the hand-painted Portugal tiles, they are absolutely stunning. But my heart was not in the tile, but friends, and actually where the tiles were sourced, they said, whatever you do, Pam, do not let her get rid of these tiles. I don't even see these tiles when I walk in now. They just become the room and the space. This piece is from Baker Furniture, high gloss again. This serves as, if you follow me along on my website, you'll find my gift closet. This is packed packed with gifts that I cherish and wrapping paper, and we just house so much on this. A chef by trade, what I loved about this mirror, it reminds me of my peach galette, which I make and is on my blog, but I love the edges and I love that it just looks like beautiful, beautiful pastry. We've broken this up, especially for entertaining and for relaxation. We've broken this up into 3 separate vignettes, and I'll show you over here. We call this Tiffy's Corner, that's my nickname. Found this rug with pops of pink in it. Every time I select a rug, I'm so concerned about decorating around it, but I've learned to select the rug first. Fell in love with this furniture. A dear friend of ours makes furniture and does upholstery. Looks great against the blue tile. Christina Phillips is a friend of mine and neighbor, and she had Park and 8th, which is a beautiful gallery here in Fort Worth. She is still an interior designer, and we found this beautiful painting. When I look at this painting, you can see actually the etching. You still see the marks with the pencil, the faceless woman, like it's almost not finished. But I find myself in this painting quite often. I love the beautiful dress and the colors, and it bounces off of all of these pieces of art in the home. We also decorate with pillows. Pillows are such a great way to add a pop of color and texture, especially to this corner. I come here often with my coffee or a cocktail and just relax. Again, you remember downstairs we had the acrylic table. So this is actually glass on a stand with gold. I love to mix metals, and this is a matte finish, almost like a bronze, and then a high gloss with the lamp. And I love these lamps that are crystal clear, either acrylic or glass. This great room, a lot of white. People are afraid of white, but when you're using performance fabrics that we have here and over here and over here, you will find that that is your friend. You can just basically wipe up red wine, even though I'm still a little scared. This rug is a piece of art. I found it, my friend Mitch at the rug company in Dallas. I saw it, look at the feathers of the crane, the beautiful, beautiful cherry blossoms in the bottom. The interpretation of art is in the eye of the beholder. I'm not sure what you see. I see a cross. My husband sees a boat. Some people see a palette of color. We kept the fireplace as it was. We didn't paint it black. I had a lot of people tell me to paint it black. But look at this. I love this glass fire screen. It is very functional. We don't have small children in the home, so I'm not worried about this. It's really held down with beautiful blocks of gold, and it just looks very unique. I thought about at one time painting this white, but I just love how it kind of goes away. We have bookend this entire mantle with banana trees. They're not real because I cannot grow anything. I can't keep anything alive as far as plants. But these are so real looking, and they just bookend this beautiful, beautiful mantle and piece of art. So over here is this little vignette that we created. I love the color pink. Not afraid of color, as I've said so many times, but I believe this furniture was used. It's got that Chippendale look, a little lattice work on the back with a kind of a bronze look. We had all of this recovered. I'm not afraid to have my dog, which you will meet her eventually, on pieces of furniture. I had a dog later in life, but she loves this area and it just doesn't bother me. This look of this fabulous, the texture of this little side table has a mimicking of Valentino rock studs. So I was immediately, when you see my closet, immediately drawn to this with the bubbles here in the color, which if you go right up here, Leslie Barron is an incredible artist out of Tennessee. I call this Rosie Faye. And I get a little emotional because this reminds me of my mother. Looks like my mother, the eyes follow me. If you notice, there's butterflies, and I adore butterflies. You'll see them throughout my home. But there's actual real pieces of pearls and feathers in this painting with sequins that's layered and layered, and you see the roses on top of her head, and then the beautiful palm fronds. She is the star of this room. These are actual structural elements, and the previous owners really wanted to take these. These are from a church in Italy. So when I talk about global in this home, I mentioned that the tile is from Portugal. This is from Italy. We have African limba wood in a certain section of the home. So we love that global feel and pulling all these things together to make this architecturally mindful of our travels and in our world. So welcome to our study, where there's elements in here that are so incredibly global. The mirrors that you see throughout this house are in this room, which makes for a larger room. We have a lot of natural light in here. It was a little darker, so we had to bring in more color, of course. Let me show you over here, Christopher Guy, which you saw on the sofa downstairs. I thought this looked like a piece of jewelry, this beautiful, beautiful mirror in a high gloss emerald green is just perfect, and to me it's such a great focal point for this room. We used this piece in a prior home for a bar cart. So we had this in a different area. We needed to save space, and we didn't have the bar cart that we have now. But this is perfect to house books and memorabilia and photographs. And takes me over to these beautiful chairs that, again, inspiration is global. And I love this particular side table. Look at the chains. And if you're seeing a trend here with a lot of jewelry, that I love pieces of jewelry, but I just thought this was so interesting. It was actually one of the first pieces that I selected along with the mirror. So in home had this original wood. And again, I thought it was a little dark. I love it now. It's African limba wood, hence the global feel in this home. It is beautiful, the natural grain that's in this. And we have added this, which looks like bronzed horns. This is, again, a Waterford piece. I just adore this. It just, again, mimics jewelry, which I love. And we had here, I actually redid this recently when I knew you were coming over. We had a suede, and it just looked like a dark hole, so we just added new wallpaper, and it's from LET, France. And I love how the light bounces off and you still have the texture of this. Great glass pieces, Waterford crystal, collectibles, and books throughout this. Again, the global feel. Interesting objects throughout the house, shelves, and it's just amazing. Notice at the top here, this is an air vent that the person that did the wallpapering just covered, and it looks amazing. So impressed with this. The desk is of comfort. My husband loves to watch the game in here. Again, I was struggling with the colors being a little bit dark, so we added this pop of color on the rug. The rug, again, is from the rug company, and look at this great leopard on the bottom. And I just love the inspiration, again, carrying the feel throughout the house with the emerald green in here that mimics and works so well with the mirror. But this is, again, rug company, and Diane Furstenberg is the beautiful designer. You know her through fashion as well. We have had this sofa for so long. So many people have slept on this sofa. We have had it recovered. I feel like I'll never get rid of the sofa because it just is so functional. It's so comfortable and so homey. We added the colors recently with the beautiful, beautiful high pops of pink. And again, it looks great against the African limba wood. This chair we just got here recently. It is so comfortable. It's actually electric, and this is where many naps are taken in this portion of our home. So now let me take you to where we spend a lot of our time. I have a little secret passageway, so here we go. So I had had a secret pathway to our primary bedroom, which is a haven of comfort and warmth for us. We have used so much light in here to bounce with the color and the beautiful linens that I'll show you, but there was something missing. Every Christmas we would have a Christmas tree here, and once the Christmas tree was gone, I was very, very sad. So we added this incredible olive tree, and I just love the feel of this. Through here, we brought this piece in, have an antique mirror that, again, we are contemporary and modern, but I just think it works well, especially with the high gloss of this chest of drawers. Over here, this rug that you see on the floor, we actually purchased this when we were first married. Goodness, been, oh gosh, 15 years ago. And we used it in Austin at our home, and we had it in storage, and I thought, my goodness, this is something that we can bring in here because the palette is neutral, and we can bring in the bed and the linens and these side tables. We had one side table, and I was determined to find the mate. And we did find this. We found this over at a showroom in Dallas. Pam Flowers worked tirelessly to find this, but look at the texture of this, beautiful with the gray, a little bit of bronze here, and I love how we have just a little tray put in here. And the lampshades are just gorgeous. They are high shine. I love that the drum of the shade is metal, and it's just so functional and plays off so well in this house. So I have to tell you the story of this bed. My husband is more of a traditional guy, and when we found this bed years and years ago, I fell in love with it. The mirrored smoked glass throughout the bed, not traditional at all, and then I remember my husband coming over to look at it, and he said, "Oh, that's great, so where's the one that you selected?" So that was, he and I have very different opinions, but he loves this house. The linens are a beautiful white with an ecru, just texture on the edges, a little quilted. I just bring this back. I love a fresh made bed every single day. I wanted a lot of color again, but I was calming it down in here because I do want a peaceful type bedroom. We brought this piece in as well, so you can certainly mix and match. We pulled this in, and here's the color. Here it comes with the purple amethyst quartz, and we've just added some Christmas balls. Actually, I kept them out after Christmas, and with just little twinkle or fairy lights, and just, you know, just an added interest. And you can see how the natural lighting comes through and just bounces off of so much. The lighting above is from an antique store in Dallas, and the black was threw me off a little bit, but it just adds such an accent to this room. Again, I've talked about this multiple times throughout this home, of the jewelry, of the accessories that just are bold and beautiful with the beautiful crystal lights. So again, the color we're adding with the art. So we removed a piece and moved it to the kitchen. And this beautiful piece of art, we found it right at home here in Fort Worth, and it's a massive piece, and it works beautifully in here. All of the colors, and purple is just a beautiful color. We did reinstall a fireplace. This is an electric fireplace. It's beautiful. It does heat up quite a bit. We rarely turn this on in Texas, but I love a fireplace. But we needed a larger fireplace, and the fireplace that was in here was not working, so we did have to start over there. But we made it a larger frame on the outside that works so well with this piece of art. So from the primary bedroom, we have this very open concept of our bath areas. We have his and hers. When we purchased the home, I had a very difficult time because it's so open, and I'll show you this, which meant order and neat. And neatness is so important to me. So if the clothes are showing, I obviously needed order and neatness. This is actually hid. So this was it was certainly an option to have this, but this is hiding my clothing and Greg's shoes, but closing this. But that's a great idea in here. This African limba wood is beautiful. all of the curves just to me mimics romance and flow, and just it's almost a sexy feel. So Greg has his side and I have my side. And again, this was very difficult for me to wrap my arms around this open concept because closets are meant to be closed. This is not closed. This is so open. All of my clothing, I change this out twice a year for fall and winter and spring, summer. The key points was making sure that the hangers all matched, that your colors were coordinated. You have short to long. So that was a difficult process for me. So over here, I just keep my costume jewelry out, very, very deep drawers. We kept the handles on here and then brought in some lighting. It's very, very brightly lit. We have a little bit of natural lighting, but not a huge amount. And again, open. We have really thought about remodeling this, but how do you do this? This wood is so precious, but it would take quite a bit, but I can always change something. On my side, I have this vanity area and Greg has his, and that is perfect, absolutely perfect. A large bathtub is just such a serene portion, and just love this in this room. We added a beautiful piece of art with the light here, and the art behind the actual art of the light is Amy Young. High texture, multimedia. Again, we were talking earlier about the framing in the acrylic, and I just think it finishes this so beautifully. Again, the deep bathtub is it's just such a serene, beautiful feeling in here. So let me show you another part of my house that I absolutely love, and this is my closet. If you follow me on Instagram and on my social media and my blog, you will see my closet multiple times because fashion is one of our pillars. But we switch this out twice a year. Underneath here, I have my shoes, sneakers that I wear every day, my flip-flops, and then I just sprinkle throughout here bags and shoes that I love, some shoes that don't love me so much that I have in my home, but all of these things with bags that are collectibles that have been given to me in my collection, I just love. I like to add acrylic pieces here to give height and interest, as well as the books. I mean, books are great in a closet. So then you come up here, we have a different look and feel. And you know, it was, how do I make this closet and my display not look like you're shopping at a department store? But I love having all this. So when I talked to you about the open concept, it was tough. It was tough. But now I absolutely love it. So this is where I put my makeup on, do my skincare every day. This is actually a desk, but it houses all of my favorite products. I keep these on display, especially the lips. I usually have more mirrors or lighting here just because we do a lot of filming here for my Instagram and my blog. But I have some of my favorites here. I love the Chanel lip stain that I have on today with a gloss on the other end. Just it's just the perfect color for me. There's so many colors. And again, I link this often. Now this chair is key, y'all. This chair, I need something because if I have self-tanner on or hands are filled with makeup or dirty, putting foundation or sunscreen on, this is a performance faux leather, and I've had this for, oh my goodness, probably we've been here 6 years in this house, and it's perfect. I mean, that is so key when you have this and you have hairspray and products around. It is so great. We got this from Baker as well as this. This has some love on it because there's a lot of activity that happens here with filming, but again, just great when it's moving throughout this room with the feel of the room. So my podcast is called My So-Called Fabulous, and in my mid-50s, I decided to switch gears, especially when the pandemic hit and I could not do television and radio any longer and do live performances, to shift and bring the blog to life with the podcast, and that's what we've done. And what we do is try to solve a problem and to help people. Do we have fun and laugh? We do, but we also cry as well, but we're always trying to solve a problem. We're almost in our 5th year, and we just keep going. People ask me often, at my age, why are you doing this? Because you know what, in my opinion, you need to keep your brain moving and keep your brain alive. And I have the most fabulous men and women that work with me every single day, and I'm proud of this brand that we've created. So welcome to our outdoor living space, our loggia. We were in Italy several years ago, and I noticed there were so many loggia spaces. The word loggia is basically an outdoor covered living space, and we needed that. When we were remodeling, this was actually a room that was enclosed, and we didn't need that. We just wanted some outdoor space because we don't have a backyard. So this, I went with the colors of nature. You'll see these steel doors. Again, if you remember, this was an enclosed room, but we added the steel doors and the steel windows. It mimics church. We love that so much. See this in so many beautiful churches, especially in Spain and Italy. And we've added a lot of faux plants. Remember, I cannot keep plants alive, so we have to have faux plants. So this fiddle leaf fig surrounds, and it doesn't offer shade because we don't need it, but this is faux. This furniture just withstands the rain, the sun, especially here in Texas. If you notice, we had along the railing, and especially outside surrounding the entire home, we had this beautiful, beautiful work with the iron, which I just love so incredibly much, with the circles and the lines. It's so beautiful. We had this in a previous home and brought it over. High top table, bistro table. We love to sit out here and enjoy cocktails or to root on our corn fogs. We just love the loggia. It's nice and breezy this time of year, but it does get hot. So our view off our loggia, where the living spaces is, we have the view of Colonial Country Club. We are right between hole number 1 and 2, and the Charles Schwab Challenge is held here every May. And this particular time of year, the golf course is beautiful, lush, and green. We just had a huge remodel, but it is absolutely beautiful. You can see the golfers across the street. And you know what? On our balcony downstairs, our balcony up here, the loggia, and our fountain, we find golf balls quite often. So I'm not sure who's hitting those golf balls, but so come on in, everybody. Let's look at the rest of the house. Welcome to our dining room. This room was a blank slate again. There's a lot of mirrors in here, which lends itself to a larger room, but we started with this wallpaper. This wallpaper is from Maya Romanoff. That's the artist, and there's almost, you can see, it's a high texture. Love this color. Just a blank palette. However, this, you see, it mimics grids, and this was the inspiration for the drapery, which is across the room, which I'll show you in that section. But this color was great for this painting, which we brought from another home, which is absolutely perfect for this room. It was dark, and it pops off of the wallpaper. This is flanked by 2 sconces. This is Waterford crystal. This fringe on the bottom I just fell in love with because it would represented high fashion, which I love fashion with the crystals and here, but it was just simple enough with the silver sconce that just lends itself for exactly what I needed in here. Moving on to this portion, which this is a table that we brought again from another home, but we did recover the chairs. I have a lot of texture in these chairs, and then a kind of a hidden design here that really does pop with the actual wallpaper as well as the drapery that you see. We added recently the rug. The rug, again, a piece of art. I'm crazy about rugs. This is Martin Brudinsky from the Rudd Gallery, just a beautiful artist, gold with an animal print just kind of just laced in the border with a cream center. I needed a little more color in here because you remember I'm the color girl. I added these beautiful pillows. Are they functional? Not always. I love to have a good pillow, but I love how they pop, the color pops off of the white chairs. This is a performance fabric, so I'm not afraid. I set the table 2 ends with, again, more color. This was my mother's china. It's Lenox and just a band of gold with a beautiful charger plate. And then high texture. This, again, texture. This is an outdoor placemat. And my mom's flatware that I've paired with our Ralph Lauren flatware. And you see these baccarat butterflies throughout our home with Vietri to serve. You can do a dessert in here or a beautiful cocktail, and y'all have to see these. I love just at each place setting putting something a little bit special. So the colors that we pulled from the upholstery we just added with a beautiful flower of the season, beautiful gold, and the high shine of this table, which takes me to a little more shine. When Pam, our interior designer, found these, she knew that I would love these pears. They have a ceramic leaf, and each one is, I believe, 24 karat gold. So I'm very, very careful about when I place these. So just placing these beautiful pears in this oversized bowl, that just is an art piece, again, when it just goes right up to the chains of our chandelier that lends itself for beautiful light with crystals that mimic the crystals on the Waterford sconces on the other side. So in this side, I don't want to interrupt, but I want to introduce you to my fur baby. This is my first pet that I've ever had, and I just love her. Can you say hello? Say hi. This is Lala, and this is where she overlooks the house. This is her bed. We love this bed, and she loves it too. She's a little camera shy today. I'm not really sure why, but she guards our home and barks at every leaf and golfer that goes by. And of course, what is a dining room without a bar? This bar houses some of our favorites with our napkins, our cocktail napkins that we have monogrammed, and just collectibles from throughout the years. Champagne bucket. I love this because it moves, and it will move around the house and actually out on the loggia when we're entertaining outside. Good bottle of wine, bottle of champagne, and you have the perfect space to entertain in this room. I have a favorite room in this home. I really do. And I'm a chef by trade, and went to culinary school after TCU. And so the kitchen is my haven. We work out of the kitchen. We create my so-called fabulous out of the kitchen. It is our family room. You know, when you entertain and you have large spaces, but everyone gravitates to the kitchen, and I love that. It makes me feel really good about what we've created in there. But when I walk up the stairs in my home and I see the color and the view, it just makes me happy. And my daughter will say every time I walk up in here, I say, I love my home so much. It makes me happy, it makes me feel good, and I hope it makes you feel good too. So one of my very favorite rooms in the home is the kitchen and living area. And so let me show you around. So in the kitchen and living area, this was actually a piece that I debated on not bringing in the home, but it works perfectly because it's black, and we had the back piece, we just added a little bit of color that reflects the light, so it's not just a dark hole, and actually accent all of our collectibles in here, our memorabilia, our photos, and I love it. This is perfect. But this I love because it mimics the steel windows and doors throughout the home. This living space, you know, it was, do we put a dining table in here, or do we just create a home that we can just live in here, and this is what we do. We watch television on this very large Samsung television. I am crazy about this. I can change the art daily. There's so many pieces of art in here, and I've changed this 3 or 4 times this week, but I love it. But we recently added the frame, and let me show you what's interesting about this. This frame just is magnetic, so you can change the frame. I love this gold, but you can make it wood or anything you want. This piece was in here. We kept it for storage. I have to show you one of my sweet friends, Ginger Ray Walker. She is in Fort Worth, and all of these pieces are in the home. This is just her beautiful colors. I asked for black with a little bit of teal, and she did this for us. And we just have numerous pieces throughout this. So I just thought that was a neat place, and especially just such a beautiful, beautiful section of the house. Instead of putting of the kitchen, instead of putting books. Now the bottom here, we've actually changed this and upgraded this room. This is another rug company. This is Alexander McQueen, and I have to say, Madonna has this rug, and yeah, she does. And I saw her on it, and I went, you know what, I'm sold. But the bottom, you see a oversized butterfly. The colors are beautiful. It is a custom rug, and I just think it is the perfect rug for this room. We needed a coffee table that was clear glass that we could see the piece of art on the floor. The clear glass 2-level table that's in between these chairs. These chairs we actually had. They're super comfortable, very cushioned, beautiful citrus yellow that we decided to add, and they swivel to watch the television, of course. Interesting light. When I saw this, I didn't even know it was a light, but it is a light, and we found this over at a showroom in Dallas at Pettigrew, one of my very, very favorites, and an LED light that just serves as an architectural piece in this particular room. I had this sofa recovered. It was the perfect size, but it reminds me of a Chanel tweed suit. And we just added a bit of color to just kind of bring in the rug and all of the colors in this room. On this side of the room, we have, again, mimicking chests that we use to store napkins and placemats and all of the essentials that we need to entertain, greeting cards. This piece of art, I really enjoy this because all of the color that pops in here. Orange, a citron green, there's teals and charcoal. I just loved because we can bring in florals with this beautiful orange, or I can do a hot pink. These lamps we've had, but again, this is a piece that is so perfect because you need that function along with the elements of design. So I thought this was perfect, and we kept it. Do I want to paint this? My next project, I really want this a high shine lacquered white, because I love white, because then we can add the pops of color. So I'm a chef. I went to TCU undergraduate. Food science and nutrition was my thing. That was my degree, and I went to culinary school at Johnson & Wales. So hence food, entertaining. I mentioned earlier that people just migrate to the kitchen. That is where everything is, conversations are made, problems are solved in this kitchen, and a very, very oversized bar. This is Carrara marble. For me, I did not like the character of marble. I needed this high gloss, and I just think it was perfect for us. We have the apron sink here that's just a spillover, a beautiful white, just again, keeping that flat neutral look in here. We had open cabinets, and I decided that I couldn't do that. So we had those, and we covered the cabinets. We have this with a beautiful white. I have to show you over here our refrigerator. I'll back you up and take you back over here. We have two refrigerators, which I kind of thought was absurd, but we have one that's a Sub-Zero, that's a beverage refrigerator, and I love it because we can house lots of beverages, and it just serves as spillover with groceries. As a trained chef, it was really important to me to have stovetop and range that work very, very well. This was a collaboration with my brand, with Heston. Heston is at the French Laundry. Thomas Keller is the chef, and he has the commercial grade. This is the first rollout of their residential grade of ranges. Has the grill in the middle. It is amazing. Now, I would not choose to have two separate ranges, but that's what the previous owner had, so I just went with it because to recreate these cabinets, it was just too much. So I am obsessed with this so much, just absolutely fabulous. Outside, I love to grill. At one point in my life, I did call myself a grilling master, so we had to have a grill, but with the outside that I've told you before, that's just limited space on the outdoors, we created this. This entire back space, and I'll show you here in a minute what this was, but we had to create storage because the previous owners used drawers, the very deep drawers, for their pantry. So we decided to really convert a lot of this house and this space into storage. Let me show you the grill. Come on out. This is a Lynx grill. It is fabulous. It's my second one. I just love this grill. It's just high performance, high heat. This is a great vent hood, great lighting, but then we went with the pattern on the back, the Carrara marble on the back, just to give a little more texture. And I love these little birds. I have to say my husband will come out and grill and hold his head from time to time, but I love these sweet little birds. We picked these up over in Dallas as well at the showroom, and I just love the little sweet little birds. Again, bringing the outside inside and the inside outside with the grill area. So let me show you my storage. So this is our butler's pantry, which we use so much. Storage. I talked to you earlier about the grill forward, and I'll take you to the powder bath in a few minutes, but this entire area was just one long hall. And there was an office and 2 washers and 2 dryers. So this is what we did with this. We needed space for storage. My mother left me most of her china and crystal, and what I fell in love with was this Hermes wallpaper. The focal point for me of this room, it's so beautiful. It's 3-dimensional. It looks like texture, but it's not. I will never change this wallpaper, but we can't find any longer because I wish we would have gone all the way to the top. Shelving was put in. The microwave is here. I love this because the microwave is hidden. I just don't like a microwave out on the countertop. Every Sunday morning on Instagram, I feature my coffee bar. And I love the DeLonghi. I have it in multiple homes, and we love these cups, and I link this so much, especially on Sundays if you follow along. So we have different types of sweeteners and teas. I love tea. I make tea every single day. Always have a basket of fresh fruits and vegetables. Over here, this is our little horn frog. This painting I found at Park and 8th years and years and years ago, which mimicked our frogs, which is our horn frog, with a cupcake. So I just thought that was absolutely fabulous for my brand and our family. What does home mean to me? Home is where you go. The home is where you end. The home is where you eat, you pray, and you love. And you welcome people into your home daily. It's a place of haven, it's a place of safety, and it's a place of, like I said, love. I feel like people need to be comfortable and safe in their home. And when someone walks in our home, I hope that they feel so welcome, from the entry as they come in to the kitchen that you will cook with us and dine with us, and all of the living spaces. And that's what's home to me.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.